I'm about to leave for work. I got hella responses on all of those postings that I had for Grandma, the things I was selling. And I didn't want to respond to them while off the clock because fuck that noise. So once I get into work today, I'm gonna respond to all those. And I like, there's too many to hit like all at once. So I'm just gonna like, whoever responded first will get, the first chance. And then like if half an hour they don't respond, then I'll move on to the next person until I get a time of arrival. And then I will, set the item as pending until the person comes to get it. And hopefully we can get that shit taken care of so I don't gotta deal with all these notifications on my phone anymore. I'm gonna start moving some shit into the motorhome from my bedroom. So I don't want to have to rent another U-Haul. I'd rather just like move everything a couple days at a time. I've had a memory, so I'm gonna share that memory in today's vlog. In high school, I believe it was sophomore year, I was in the English class, not the advanced English, AP English, but the like basic English for the less intelligent students. And the teacher would pull up our essays on his projector and usually he'd show a good essay example and a bad essay example without saying what student it was that made the essay. But one time during that year, he was able to use the same essay for the good example and the bad example. And my essay was basically on Native Americans and their like, relation to their gods or something. And there was like something about a fox, and I had a really good comparison about like it went to that next level of so like, there's the first level of the understanding that the people had a relationship with the fox or whatever, and then I went to that like next level of why they might have that relationship with the fox. And I went a tier beyond that. I don't even remember what it was, but he thought it was pretty good, so he brought it up during the morning thing. And then my next line after that first one, because he required 3 points, and I had like 1 point at the very beginning, that my second point was that really good one, and then my third one in that paragraph was, if that last point wasn't good, I don't know what was. And he was like, this is an example of a bad point. And that was just something that popped in my head just now. One of those like memories that comes up. And I've now shared it on the podcast. I mean the vlog. Hi, it's me again. I had another thought. So we've all heard of universal basic income by now. Universal basic income is essentially everyone in, say, if the United States implemented universal basic income, the federal government would pay every person in the United States X amount of money per month, whatever amount that was determined required to be the bare minimum for everyone to, survive. A lot of people don't like universal basic income. They're like, where's the money gonna come from? Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Well, I had another idea. I don't know if it's already been thought of before, but what about a universal basic pay rate? Usually when I have ideas like this, I always like come up with a dystopia book kind of thing, but rather than every time I come up with some dumb idea or put it in a book, I can just put it in my vlog. Basically, the idea is everyone gets paid the same amount of money, no matter what. The obvious arguments against that are there's no incentive to work hard, because no matter how hard you work, you always get paid the same. One argument for that would be, everyone can work their dream job. depending on availability, I suppose, because everyone would get paid the same, no matter what. I'm sure there's lots of other problems. I'm not really coming up with them at the top of my head. There's got to be like supply and demand issues with it, right? Like, how is it going to affect production? So if I know that I can make the same money at the Walmart as I would shoveling shit from a sewage drain, why would I do that? So my solution to that is all dirty jobs we replace with robots. This is also my universal basic income argument. I kind of do think we're at the point where a lot of the jobs that occupy people's times certainly could be replaced with robots, and we as a species are capable of taking a little bit of time. We just stop focusing on ourselves for a little while and all just work on making all the robots that we need to do all the shitty jobs that nobody wants to do, and programming, doing whatever needs to be done to make that happen. And then because robots are now doing these works that people aren't doing, so the people need money still in order to function in society, or they need food and shelter. So you either give them food and shelter, or you give them like a universal basic income, so that the robots don't basically just kill all of the poor people by starving them out. Because you could have the scenario where rich people own all the robots that do all the work and they collect all the money for it. But eventually you would either hit the point where the poor people are so hungry that they go and kill the rich people and take what they have, or change happens and people get universal basic income. I kind of feel like as a society we've hit that point where things get dragged out on purpose to kind of maintain that level of, there's billionaires who are making lots of money and they want to keep making lots of money, but if they say put all their money into making a bunch of robots that would do all the work, that they don't have to have any more employees, then they know that all these employees would no longer have work, and they wouldn't, they don't want to be overthrown by accidentally collapsing, civilization. I just don't know why things aren't automated. Like, I worked in spring manufacturing. All the people that watch this vlog know that I worked in spring manufacturing. I don't feel like there's any process in spring manufacturing that can't be done by a robot. My brother does think that there are things in spring making that can't be done by a robot. I don't agree. I 100%, if, say even if we were really dramatic, we were we're gonna put Microsoft, IBM, Apple, the United Nations, and all of the labor workers of America on the task of making robots that can make springs. We could do it. If your argument is that we can't do that, you're full of shit. And I'm not saying that it's realistic to assume that would happen, but because it'd be really difficult to get all those people to work together, because people are selfish. But it's certainly possible, in my opinion. And I just feel like if you could do that, just set up a system where it's getting done, and now everyone can have free springs. And then you guys focus on the next robot. Okay, how do we make a robot that can farm all the food for us so no human has to be involved at all? He does the robots do the calculations themselves. They put the food in the store. Is there enough food in the store? No, we're gonna grow more food. They change the genes of the food. Or depending on what you like, maybe you don't like genetically modified organisms. Some of the food will be genetically modified, some of the food won't be. And the food that is genetically modified, as they make changes, the robots, they will get data from what people are buying at the store. And then they'll be like, hey, people aren't buying this one as much as they're buying that one, so we're gonna decrease the amount of that one we're growing, and we're gonna increase the amount that this one's growing. And if as a society we notice the robots are fucking up and we don't like what they're doing, we can go change the programming. It just doesn't make sense. We don't have to be working. We do have to work until we can achieve the result that we no longer have to work. But like if all of us, if our entire generation just dedicated ourselves to the task, which I would be willing to do, I am like an anti-worker. My bias is I don't want to have to work. So obviously I like universal basic income. But if you need me to work in order for us not to have to work, I'm willing to do that. If we as a society were like, yeah, let's work together and solve this problem, I'm willing to do work like that so that the future generations don't have to work. I would be willing to do that. What I'm not willing to do is waste my entire life working a job that I don't want to work. And people online, I've like made comments on Reddit. People are like on the anti-work subreddit. People have said anti-work this was a while back before all the anti-work controversy, but people were like, anti-work isn't about not working, it's about shitty employers and all this and blah blah blah. And it did become that, but when I originally joined anti-work, it was about not working. And I made a comment, I was like, no, I'm not like that. I do agree that there's a lot of shitty CEOs and bosses and managers out there, but I'm here because I just don't want to have to work. And then someone commented, well, you probably just haven't found the right job. And it's not about the job. I don't want to have to get up and be somewhere every day. Okay, well, get an online job. Well, I don't want to have to be online at a certain time to a certain time. I want to just have my time available to me and work as much as I need to in order to sustain myself. And if there's something I want, I will work until I hit the point where I get that item. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to be self-employed. And I'm going to work whatever hours I feel like working. I'm going to do, whatever it takes to make enough to get by. So what I've done is I've reduced my income, or my expenditure. I've reduced the cost of living for myself. That's why I got the motorhome. I put it on mom's property. My rent is $400 a month. I'm paying down my debt so that I won't have any more debt. And then all I have to worry about is rent, food. Well, I told my dad this is my plan. And he goes, well, what are you going to do about insurance? What are you going to do about a car? I don't need a car. I need insurance, unfortunately, but there are things in place to help with that. I was talking to my aunt. She worked in, medical stuff for a little while, and she was like, I was telling my cousin and aunt that I kind of have to work because I need my Humira in order for my joints to not swell to the point that I can't use my body. And she was like, well, it's not really true because the government offers, financial aid for things like that. You just have to apply for it. And, if I cover that portion, like my medical stuff is covered, like I will work if I have to work, but I'm not going to work if I don't have to work. I'm going to do everything I can in my power to not have to work. And I don't like the idea of going to work for somewhere and making somebody else, $2,000 and me making $20. I don't like that idea, and I'm not willing to do it for the most part. I will do it if I have to, but I don't want to do that. And that's how my universal pay rate, UPR, idea turned into a rant about my life. I finished work. I've been racking pins all day. I'm going to try to do a little bit of a compilation of racking pins tomorrow, since it'll probably be the last time pins get racked. And someone's got to document the torture. I came to O'Reilly's to drop off oil for Grandma, but their oil tank is full. And I don't really want to go to another O'Reilly's location, so I'm just going to leave it. And then I am going to move things out of my room and into the motorhome gradually, so I don't have to rent a U-Haul. So today I'm gonna get the TV and the TV stand. TV stand's gonna go in the dump. All the furniture is gonna go in the dump, but the TV itself and the stuff around it are gonna be going. But I need to take the TV stand there anyways, because I'm gonna be going from Mom's house to the dump eventually when I decide to break down her fallen over shed thing, because that whole situation will need to go to the dump. Yeah, and hopefully the oil doesn't spill. I've had a lot more suicidal thoughts lately than usual. I would say a normal amount of suicidal thoughts is once a day, and I'm at 5 times a day. So my reason for not killing myself today is Parzival. Sometimes if I think about killing myself, and then I think about how sad it would be for my dog, who is his entire reason for being alive is for my attention and companionship. It's like that movie where the dog waits for the guy to get off the train and the guy never gets off the train because he's dead. That's what it would be like for Parzival, I feel like. Obviously you don't ever know, but it really gets me going. I'm home. I'm not gonna move anything today because there's so much freaking traffic. That's the main reason I haven't gone, is I just don't even want to deal with the traffic on the way from going, north heading southbound. It's just fucked. So I'm going to put stuff in my car tomorrow on the way there, because if I'm already gonna be in Bonnie Lake, I'm already gonna be driving there to get to work anyways. I'm gonna stop off at the motorhome on the way home. It'll add an extra 10 minutes to each day, instead of an extra hour and a half of literal driving in fucking the worst place. So I'm gonna watch Pay Money Webby tonight. And if I don't get it all done, because tomorrow's Foodie, I'm gonna be filming Foodie Friday on Thursday, so that Foodie Friday actually comes out on Friday. But it all kind of works out, because I can take stuff on the way there, on the way. Yeah, no, it'll be on the way back. That's okay. So on the way back for Foodie Friday, I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna go to the motorhome. I'm gonna drop off the TV in the garbage, and then I will order online mod pizza. That was what my partner suggested for me, so that's what I'm gonna try. And then, I've had it before, but I'm gonna do the Foodie Friday for it. I'm gonna order online my mod pizza when I'm leaving the motorhome, so that when I get to close to home mod pizza, close to Covington mod pizza, I can just pick up the food. And then I'm gonna try stopping in the Covington O'Reilly's, because it's across the street from mod pizza, to drop off the oil. Maybe, because it sounds like a bunch to do, and I probably won't do it, but that's the plan.
Listening. So one is you're only hearing what you're thinking. Two, you heard their voice and did not.
You didn't hear everything, so your brain is filling in the blanks.
Right, and then you didn't repeat back what you thought or ask them to correct it. And then the last one is you just
didn't hear
totally
it all.
blew it off. Totally blew it off. Right? So then we've got the last one, which is the dysfunctional one, right? These ones all could be dysfunctional, but this is just human error. Okay?
Yeah.
This is human error.
That's normal.
The dysfunction one is when you blame the other person because you did not hear what they said. You did not communicate. You did not tell me that. You lied to me. That's all falls into the fourth one, right? Right there. Instead of going, I recognize that everybody does this. I recognize that I might have been thinking about something else. I need to stop, look, and listen. Two is repeat back what I just heard you say. Now, if the other person, and this has happened to me, when you repeat back what you heard them say, they get mad at you because that's not what I said. I'm like, okay, this is what I heard you say. Can you repeat back to me what you just said? And then on the last one is, so that's on them if they do that, right?
Right.
And then if you just misspoke, okay, so maybe I said the wrong thing, right? I said the wrong thing and they didn't hear me. Maybe, no, they heard me, but I said the wrong thing. I get a chance to correct what I said. That's all miscommunication, and you get the dysfunctional part where they blame you for that. Like just now, if I repeated back what I had said, if I had repeated back, that's not what I said, and corrected myself.
It would have been a bigger issue.
Because then it was.
But you and me are both trained at this point to, like, you just leave it when something like that
I'm
happens.
not completely, because I retrained my brain, actually. Sometimes I leave it, and other times I correct it. And then I get the...
And then I always do that when you do stuff, I'm like, she's correcting it.
Because I don't like to let people get away with it, because it's bad behavior.
I understand. But like I said, it's like in my programming at this point to be like...
Well, I was there, but guess what? By not correcting, then you get a buildup of assumptions. All these assumptions, that's the truth. That is the truth. And now when you try to go back, a year later, 2 years later, 3 years later, whatever, that is not what you said. And now you are the liar. So now I make corrections, and I do it when it's small, because the bigger it is, the harder it is to get back to square one. And you don't correct the behavior. I am not responsible for what you hear. I'm only responsible for what I say.
Yeah.
And I am responsible if I lash out when I say it, repeat myself, and I do tend to lash out because I sound like I'm upset when I'm not. I'm just like, boom, boom, boom. Because I'm a mirror. I reflect back the attitude, the tone I'm getting. I do. You don't like that done to you, don't do it to me.
I've been liking doing my vlog because whenever I have like thoughts, I can just vlog them down and then I have it for later reference.
But yes, if I just keep it real simple, my points, and then also then start going, okay, how can we do, I can't take responsibility for what they hear. I have to take responsibility for what I say, and I address it from that angle,
Yeah.
And then I can be joking about, okay, well, there's always the mirroring back, right? You have to understand if you're yielding the sort of truth, and you're already getting a bad attitude and a bad behavior, you're going to quantify that bad behavior because it doesn't correct itself. You're just saying, I'm setting this boundary and this is a sword and it's going to hurt you just as much as it hurts them. You have to be willing to do that. If not, don't do it. So this is the job I'm applying for. And I'm going to Where's Tumwater?